Welcome into the Alabama Bass Trail podcast presented by Phoenix Boats. I'm Kay Donaldson, the director of the Alabama Bass Trail and the host for this week's podcast. And this is your pre Thanksgiving episode. And trust me when I say, with all the craziness going on in the bass fishing world and, the pool building world, the yard and landscaping world, and all the ABTing that's been going on around this part of the country, it has been a week, if not 2 weeks. I know that a lot of you have seen the last couple of podcasts or videos that I've done. And I do want to thank you all for listening and for commenting and for your messages and everything. We're going to be discussing a little bit of what's been going on the past couple of weeks, as well as some things that are on the forefront on the Alabama Bass Trail. But I do want to welcome you into this week's podcast presented by Phoenix Boats. It's not going to all be doom and gloom, which is kind of how I felt about the last couple weeks. Lot going on, but a lot of exciting things as well. Unfortunately, we're going to kick it off with something a little bit on the sad note. I'm sure some of you have probably already seen Luke Duncan's post. I'm not sure if he did a podcast about this, but I know that he did a post about the passing of his father, Mr. Marty D. Last Wednesday, I got a call from Luke. He was headed to an awards banquet to honor his mother in her respective duties there in Lawrenceburg, and found his dad had passed away earlier that day. So I know Luke is fairly new to a lot of you on the Alabama Bass Trail, but I've known Luke for over 12 years, and I know what a big part of his life Mr. Marty was, and also to his boy. So we do send out our continued thoughts and prayers to Luke and his family as they deal with the passing of Marty D. And in the week to come, as they sit down and gather around the table and have a very big void there. We pray that they will be that they will have peace and have understanding in this week of Thanksgiving. So, Luke, we love you. We're praying for you, and we can't wait to see you again back here on the Alabama Bass Trail podcast. Um, but then I know a number of you have seen the post on Mr. Darian Craig's page that he and his beautiful wife Hannah are expecting baby number 2 and boy number 2. They let Cannon share and actually spill the tea. Get it? See how I did that? Tea. Um, they let Cannon spill the tea on the Friday night at Shark Tank watch party, that they are expecting their second baby boy due in May of 2025. So we are looking forward to getting to meet the new Mr. Craig in the family. So congratulations to Hannah, Darian, and Cannon on the upcoming arrival of baby boy number 2. We're going to do a brief update on the proposed slot limit, proposed 14 to 20-inch slot limit on the Coosa River. I did a video on Friday. I think it was actually posted on Saturday to kind of give you an update. For those of you who have not seen that video, it is posted up on our YouTube page as well as on our Facebook page. Late Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon, I received an email back from Commissioner Blankenship, and I've got it here. I won't bore you with everything that's in that email, but I did want to just kind of go about. I wanted to recap to you based on what I was told when I was in a meeting with the Department of Fisheries Department Head, Mr. Chuck Sykes, Damon Abernathy, Matthew Marshall, and Mr. Fred, the Deputy Director there at Freshwater Fisheries. They had received several years of complaints over the decline in Neely Henry and along the Coosa River, of not only just decline in the fishery, but also the largemouth population, but mainly the black bass mortality and all of that. So over the course of several years getting those complaints, they decided to do a 3-year study to study the black bass mortality in regular angling or recreational angling, and as opposed to tournament angling. And they then published an 85 or so page report. They narrowed it down for us into maybe 2 or 3 pages and presented that to me on November the 5th there in Montgomery. We had some discussion about it. I then left. They had another Zoom meeting with 4 or 5 other tournament organizations, and then sent out an email to others that were not involved in those meetings. And once this hit the airwaves and the scenes and the social media circus, it became very apparent there were a lot of people upset about this. Uh, and so on and so forth. So I sent a list of questions that I had. I read those aloud on last week's podcast, along with other questions that I've had throughout the process. A number of people between Sylacauga Marine Trail, Coosa Marine Trail, Airport Marine Trail, BASS, MLF, MPFL have all posed questions to the department. We've all sent, letters of opposition or letters of concern about this step, and they've heard that. A number of you have called in, have emailed in your concerns as well. And I know that the department has been flooded, as well as your legislators, the lieutenant governor's office. Several people have been contacted regarding this. And I want to, thank you for your passion, because I'm glad to see that the fishing industry and the angling community was quick to say, "Hey, we need some explanation on this." So I want to thank you for that. I want to kind of say that our goal is that there is a compromise, and based on my letter that I received from Commissioner Blankenship, they are planning to put together a stakeholders meeting before the May 8th Conservation Advisory Board. So hopefully we'll know a date on that soon. But to based on the email that I've got, they also claim that they have several people that have reached out in support of this, and I'm sure there have. I've had people reach out to me that are in support of a slot limit. And so, there are always um, two sides to it, I guess, in this situation, to a regulation. And I'm sure there are people that are in support of this, whether it be that they feel like it will drastically affect the fishery, whether they feel like it will drastically cut down on the number of boats on their lake if they are a homeowner. If they are, someone that lives on that body of water, they may think that it's going to cut down on boat traffic. They may genuinely be concerned at the quality of the fishing on that body of water and think that this is going to make a drastic change. For whatever reason, they are in favor of this. I do want to state, if you feel compelled to write, email, or call down to the Department of Conservation to speak with either Chuck Sykes or Commissioner Blankenship or Damon Abernathy, my words to you are, please approach them in the manner you would like to be approached. No one wants to get into a fight about this. No one wants to get into a heated argument about this. We understand your passion. We have that same passion that you have. But I can assure you that um, I would not want to be attacked. I would not want to personally feel attacked, and I have in this role. So I understand where that is coming from, but I have also felt the anger and upset and frustration that you guys feel as well. I'm just encouraging you, certainly make your feelings known. State your opinion or your facts or whatever you have to go toward this, but please do so in an amicable um, manner. Do so in a manner that you would like to be approached, or that you would like for your wife to be approached if she was in this position. Because some people there are just there to answer the phones. They're not there to make decisions based on the fishery. They're just there to answer the phone and pass along messages. So please make sure that you do so in a peaceful manner. We certainly are holding our hopes up for a compromise and for a stakeholders meeting that would give us the best chance to state our case before this does go to a vote at the advisory committee. And a lot of people have reached out to me asking exactly what a stakeholders meeting would consist of. And to my knowledge, based on the conversations that I've had, they are looking to meet with other tournament organizers, tourism organizations, legislators, boat dealers, and people people in this business. I don't really think that this will be a public hearing for anglers to speak their mind about it. This will be held to a 30 to 35 group of people to be there to sit down and talk about the study, talk about examples of where this may have worked in the past, and to be given hard, cold economic facts about what this would mean to the industry. So, to my knowledge, that's kind of where we are. And hopefully that meeting will be arranged soon. But I can assure you, you will be kept up to date to everything that I know. I know Lee Holmes is doing a good job of updating his people. I know Coosa River Team Trail is doing the same. Airport Marine is doing the same. Um, before I leave this topic, I do also want to address, I know a number of people have reached out about the 15-inch minimum limit that Coosa River and Airport or that Sylacauga is doing. I congratulate them and applaud them in their effort to do so. What we have found in the past is that it is best for us to wait on a decision to be made. If not, go by the current regulation. So we are going to continue to do that. I have zero issue with the people that want to do the 15-inch minimum. I have zero issue with that. But when we change something, it will be based on the regulation changing. And simply because we have 1,100 anglers and we have to keep them informed of what's going on. And right now, everything says that we go by the state regulation, and that's what we're going to do. I don't know what a 15-inch minimum will do. I've got to think that it will be better than a 12-inch minimum. But when I asked that question, the Department of Conservation said that spawning size starts at 8 inches. So adding a 15-inch minimum length limit would not help what they're trying to help. And let's be clear, their study says we do not have a low population of bass. We have a low population of 20-inch and greater bass. So they're saying that the only thing that will help that would be to go to a slot limit. Again, I'm not a biologist, don't have a fishery science degree. I'm just going off of what I've been told or what I've read in their study. So my main concern that really that has me bothered is when I go on YouTube or I go on Instagram or I go on other podcast apps, I'm seeing Alabama bans bass fishing tournaments. Tournament organizations fear bass tournaments will no longer be going on as they have in the past, or bass tournaments as we know them no longer happen in Alabama. Those headlines are triggering, and they're very, very, very concerning when you've spent the last 12 years of your career promoting Alabama as a year-round fishing destination. So that cloud still hangs over us right now, just simply because of the number of people who are podcasting about this, the number of people who are writing articles about this, whether it be from Wire to Fish, whether it be from Get Your Fish On, whether it be from several other podcasting and YouTubers that are talking about the fact that Alabama has 100% targeted tournament bass fishing. And that's what's going on online. That's not coming from our mouths. That's coming from people that have huge YouTube followings. So that is quite concerning for me, is to say that we are no longer in business. I remember when we had the Gulf oil spill, and everybody thought that the beach 100% was out of business, and we saw the downturn in tourism economy because people rethought their vacation and planned to go other places rather than to Alabama's White Sound beaches. So it's concerning for me from that standpoint. I've spent the last 12 years building and promoting Alabama as a year-round fishing destination. I've worked with the other tournament organizers in placing tournaments through COVID when they could not go up north. I worked very closely with Trip Weldon, with Hal Taylor at the Department Law Enforcement Agency there in Montgomery. So I've had a lot of great friendships through helping other organizations get contacts to book tournaments. I've said this many times before. The Alabama Bass Trail, nor K. Donaldson, has the desire to work 30, 36 weekends a year. So it's important to us that we have other options for our anglers to come into the state of Alabama. So it is very important. I do also want to state one thing, and I said this on another podcast, and the guy didn't interview me on camera. He actually interviewed me off camera, and he stated something that I said in the podcast. So I want to cover it in our podcast. He asked me, what is my resistance to go into catch, weigh, release? And 100%, my resistance is the sheer cost of what it would take for us to do that and to ensure that it was done correctly. My position is not that I don't think it's a good tactic. It is 100% the amount of cost that it would take for us to implement that and to ensure that it was done at a level that we feel solely that we can trust, that we can track, and that we are awarding monies to the people that deserve that. Um, we the biggest thing I've heard is, well, Major League Fishing does it. Why can't you? Major League Fishing does it on the Bass Pro Tour. 40 boats a day. 40 boats a day. That they have a tracking device, that they have a marshal, that they have cameras, they have all of that technology for 40 boats per day. My question is, if Major League Fishing deems that this is the best, why put it in the fewest boats you have, of the best fishermen that you have, that have the best equipment that is on the market? But yet you don't do it in your invitationals. You don't do it in the Toyota series. You don't do it on the BFLs, where you have the most boats, not the best of the best, maybe inferior equipment, to where it would make a bigger difference. I 100% believe if you ask the people in charge at MLF as to why they don't do it on those other trails, they're going to tell you because of the enormous cost of it and the potential for cheating when you have either no one in the boat with them, or how are you going to process that with a pro and a co situation? Again, it sounds great, catch, weigh, release. Do you do it on kayaks? Yes. There's nowhere to go in a kayak to get away from a camera. There's nowhere to go. You are limited in space. There's a process there. I'm not saying it wouldn't work. I'm saying the potential for cheating or additional cheating is higher. I think that it just it changes the game completely of how we do it, and we certainly don't have time to put that into place from November the 25th to when we kick off January the 18th. We don't have the software built in our website to track that. And everybody says, well, you have this app, you have this app, you have this app. That's fine. But we also have partners that we work with, that we put things on our website so that our partners are seen. So until we have the time to build that out on our website to where our partners are front and center where they deserve to be, we can't implement that. And again, that is going to take a tremendous amount of money. And I don't think anyone in the fishing industry right now has a ton of money that they're not currently using. So when people throw that to me, and I'm not throwing shade at MLF, I'm not throwing shade at them, because props to them for coming out with catch, ray, release. But if you're going to put it on 40 boats of your best anglers with the best equipment, with a marshal that's entering that data, and you believe in it, that it is that much better for the resource, then why are you not using it in your 200 boat tournaments? Simple question. I guarantee it's going to come down to economics and the opportunity for cheating or whatever it is. The opportunity of having it on the website to be able to keep up with it as quickly as that data is updating. You saw in our ABT championship, we were unable to go into a certain area of the lake and broadcast live because there was no cell phone signal. A Starlink Mini to go in that boat is $600. It is $165 a month for the service on that Starlink. Imagine 225. Imagine 225 being able to be put on boats. If you've ever gone through an Alabama Bass Trail boat check, just having cameras, just having trackers put in those boats, the amount of time that it takes, the amount of energy that Starlink is going to take and draw off of batteries. There is a lot to consider. that you can't just throw out catch, weigh, release and expect that to stick. Maybe I'm wrong. Based on my research, that's what we're looking at. So again, not throwing shade at anybody, but answer that question. If it's that great of an option and they've been doing it for now 5-6 years, why is it not trickled down to those other trails? Just a simple question. All right. That wraps up what we know. Again, March 8th, 2025 is the Conservation Advisory Board meeting. We hope to have a stakeholders meeting prior to that. We will keep you up to date. All things to know on the Alabama Bass Trail Facebook page and Instagram, so stay tuned there. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we mentioned that this is the time for Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about some of those things that we're very thankful for moving into the week of Thanksgiving. So we'll be back in just a moment here on the Alabama Bass Trail podcast presented by Phoenix Boats. Y'all stay tuned.
It's the moment when everything is on the line and precision, power, and control make all the difference. A moment over 20 years in the making, anchored on loyalty, trust, and support that goes beyond all expectations. A relentless pursuit of perfection. All born from a revolutionary idea to help you rule the water. Power Pole.
Welcome back to the Alabama Bass Trail podcast presented by Phoenix Boats. You know, every year this time of the year, I tend to get a little sentimental, and I hope that you guys don't mind that. But it's been a year in the Donaldson household. Most of you know my son, 4 days from now, marks the anniversary of his heart attack, which rocked our family and really rocked us to our core, if you want to be honest. So at this time of this year, I have a lot to be thankful for, and personally and professionally. But for you guys, I'm sure you're most interested in the professional side of what we do. I'm really happy to announce that we ended the 2024 season with no major accidents in the Alabama Bass Trail. When you put on 225 boats or even the 100 boat tournaments, the opportunity for an issue, an accident to happen is certainly there. We've seen that happen in bigger trails this year. We've seen it happen in smaller trails. And I just want to say that I am very thankful that we were able to come through this season without any accidents. We've had a lot of sickness among our anglers. We're still dealing with some of that with our anglers, but we've been able to come through this season with no accidents, no one injured or hurt or any loss of life, and I'm very thankful for that. That is something that weighs on me every morning at blast off, and it is certainly something that I'm glad to see every Saturday evening when I go to the key fob box and we have a full box of key fobs. So I'm also very thankful to you anglers for being careful out there on the water. We encourage that, and we thank you for you adhering to that and making that top of mind awareness. Also, a little bit on the personal side, I want to say I'm personally thankful for Angela Cross. She joined our team in July. She is our social media and communications director at the Alabama Bass Trail, and she hit the ground running and has not stopped. She's doing a lot with our new apparel line, as well as our social media. I know that you've seen a difference in the social media of the stuff that we're covering and putting out there, and that's 100% Angela, and she's doing a fantastic job. So again, I'm so thankful to have her and look forward to working with her in the 2025 season. I also am very thankful that the 2025 Alabama Bass Trail 100 and the Alabama Bass Trail is sold out and did so in record time. I get very emotional about that because I know that you're not only entrusting your finances with us, you're also entrusting and putting your faith and confidence in the Alabama Bass Trail team. I want to assure you we do not take that lightly and that our team is ready to provide you an excellent experience to the best that we can. And I want to thank you for that. I want to say since 2017, we have sold out, and since 2020, we've sold out in under 25 minutes each year. And so thank you for that. Thank you for your confidence that you share in our team. We appreciate that, and we look forward to having you in the 2025 season. Funny enough, I've had the opportunity to speak to probably 10 or 12 people over the past 7 days that did not get in 2025, but are already asking about the 2026 season. And there is nothing more humbling than having someone say that they are anxiously awaiting August the 15th so that they can register for 2026. Um, in the dark, dark days that I've had over the past 14 to 16 days, those words are, we are anxious to fish with you in 2026. And I read some of the comments and it says that I can't wait to be a part of the Alabama Bass Trail. Those words have meant so much in the last 16 days. I received a text Saturday morning and I forwarded it to Angela. And I said, "This is why I fight so hard." I received another message from Matthew Hurst and his kind words and encouragement. "This is why I fight so hard." Um, Numerous text messages that I've seen, the messages, the comments on Facebook. "This is why I fight so hard." Um, those words mean so much to me, and you just can't imagine the encouragement that you've given me over the past 16 days. It has truly been amazing, and I'm very thankful for that. I also want to thank our partners, our sponsors. You know, they're we use that word interchangeably with sponsorships and partners, but I honestly feel that the people who work with the Alabama Bass Trail are our partners. Um, they are very interested in what is going on the Alabama Bass Trail. David Miller with Buffalo Rock has reached out numerous times. I've heard from people from Phoenix. We've heard from Pro Guide Batteries, TH Marine. Um, it has been a whirlwind of comments and questions and emails and all of that. They don't just give you a check and hope that you do well with it. They really are engaged in your business. And I am so thankful for the partners that we have. We have some new partners that will be coming on for the 2025 season. I'm anxious to announce those as well. Hopefully, we'll be able to do those in the next couple of weeks. But thank you for those who have continued to support the Alabama Bass Trail. We certainly appreciate it. We would not be able to pay our anglers over 100% without your participation. So thank you so much. Our host cities that continue to invest in their facilities. I know some of them are hurting right now. Some of them are feel like they've been kicked in the gut. But know that we appreciate what you're doing to enhance your facilities. Beeswax, you know, Lincoln Landing, Leesburg Landing. We saw what they did at Camden. Thank you for listening to the Alabama Bass Trail story. Thank you for buying into the fact that bass fishing is economic development. And thank you for taking your hard earned tax dollars and investing those in your facilities. We're all here fighting together. So thank you for our host cities who invite us back every year. You know, when I think about bass and I think about MLF and I think about the vastness of the United States and where all they can take tournaments, you know, they have lots and lots of choices. Uh, but I feel blessed among all of them that I get to locate my tournaments in the great state of Alabama year after year after year after year and create economic impact in communities that truly need us there. And you know, these cities have options of who they bring into their city. They have options of whether or not they participate in a triathlon or in a cross country event or in a soccer event. And they choose every year to help the Alabama Bass Trail and to help the anglers on the Alabama Bass Trail. So thank you to our host cities. Um, and to our team, the Alabama Bass Trail team, to Daniel and John and Mark and Frank and Brody and Danny and Brennan and Landon and AJ, Todd, to the people at Hearst Towing that tow all of our vehicles around, um, to Angela, to Mary, to Emma, to Luke and Darian and Jason and Ben and Russell and Jared and Noah and Kenny. Um, to Matt Lee, who's filled in with us this past year and may have some next year, depending on when baby boy Craig gets here. Um, so many people that make this thing work. And we could not do it without them. To the Golden Girls who sell our shirts, um, to everyone who just fills in where we have a gap that day. Um, I can't tell y'all when we found out 2 days before the championship that Noah's brother-in-law had passed away, and I sent it out to the team, and it was who could fill in what space. It was just watching them come together to make sure that all the gaps were filled. Um, it is a team effort like nothing I've ever seen, and I say this every time I talk about this team. I put them up against anybody from fish care to parking you in the mornings, to checking you in the mornings, to checking you in at the pre-tournament meetings, to weighing your fish in, to getting you out of there. I put this team up against anybody, and I could not be happier and more proud of an organization and the people that we employ. It is so humbling and truly, truly a blessing to go to work with them each and every Saturday. So thank you to the ABT team. Hopefully I haven't gotten too sappy on you with all of that, but I think sometimes we get so caught up in what work there is to do and what's ahead of us and all of that. And certainly I've heard this all my life. You're only as good as the next thing you do. And I do have big plans for the Alabama Bass Trail. I have a lot of ideas about future endeavors, and I want to always focus on the future. But I think you can't do that until you really engross yourself with being thankful for what you already have. And I am certainly thankful for that. I was going to take a short break, but I think I'm just going to go right back in to a couple things that we have going up. As you know, this is going to be a short week on the Alabama Bass Trail. We will work Monday through Wednesday. Our office will be closed Thursday and Friday for the observance of Thanksgiving holiday. And of course, we're always closed on Saturday and Sunday. So we will reopen on Monday, the 2nd of December. So if you are an ABT 100 team trying to make your payments, please do so before we go out of the office. If you're going to be looking for your team ID and PIN number, because we will be closed from Thursday to Monday. I do want to congratulate the 16 teams that will be going up to Kentucky Lake to Paris, Tennessee to compete in the Bass Team Championship. It is still kind of up in the air whether or not I'll be able to make that trip with everything we have going on back here in the state of Alabama. And I did say 16 teams. We had 2 unable to make it. Josh Butts, Stephen McAvoy, unable to go due to Josh's wife actually works for Bass, so he's unable to participate in that tournament. We had replaced him with Mark Condren and Ted Paisley, but unfortunately, Mark fished the Toyota Invitationals this year, or the MLF Invitationals this year, and so that makes him ineligible to fish. We just found that out this week, and we are unable to make the change at this late date. And then also Jason Tomlin and Justin Foster. Justin is extremely sick and is unable to go, and so we will not be able to replace that team. So we have 16 teams going this year up to Kentucky Lake to participate in the Bass Team Championship. I do hope to get up there at some point. I'm just not sure as to how quickly I can make it up there. So they will be leaving, I think, on Saturday. They can compete on Sunday, I believe. They can practice on Sunday. And so congratulations and good luck to all of those teams. We'll do a better story about that next week as our post Thanksgiving, and then going into the Bass Team Championship, we'll do a little deep dive into some of those teams and see kind of what our thoughts as far as weight goes and all of that. So congratulations to those 16 teams. We'll be watching closely on Bassmaster.com all week long for updates. I do want to also say something kind of exciting. A number of you have reached out about the new apparel that you're seeing all over Facebook from our championship. Our ABT store will be open with new hoodies and hats, as well as coffee mugs and Yeti cups and all the things. So you'll be able to check that out by going to our website. In the top right-hand corner, click on store. We will have some Black Friday deals going. That should open, I think, on Wednesday. So you can take a look at that. Go to alabamabasstrail.org, click on store, and you'll see all the new hats and cups and mugs and all the things there. Also, a number of our partners have Black Friday deals going as of right now. You've got Pro Guide batteries. They have up to 40% off on their website. Go to proguidebatteries.com. They have a 20, 30, and 40% off on the different battery combinations that you might be using. And make sure that you get registered for the Pro Guide Batteries bonus program on the Alabama Bass Trail. Also, TH Marine has a 30% site-wide Black Friday sale going on right now at thmarinesupplies.com. Make sure that you log in and check those out. They have you covered, complete coverage all over your boat. So make sure that you log on there. American Bait Works, get the new blip minnow that you saw Walt Roberts and Robert Greenberg win the ABT 100 on Wheeler Lake. That's AmericanBaitWorks.com as well. As a reminder, ABT 100 payments are due on August. Listen to me, on August 1st. Thinking about that pool getting out there in August, but ABT 100 payments are due December the 1st, on or before December the 1st, 5 o'clock close of business. Log on to alabamabastrail100.org. Click on register. Click on make your final payment. Enter your PIN number and team ID. Make your payment there. All payments that are not received by December the 1st, you will forfeit your spot, and we will revert to the waiting list to fill those. And I think we are down to number 4 or 5 on the waiting list already. So regular ABT payments are due on or before December the 20th. That's at alabamabastrail.org. Click on register, enter your team ID and PIN number, get those payments made. Any payments not made by December 20th, you do forfeit your spot, and we will move on to the people on the waiting list. So make sure that you do that. All right, that does it for this week's podcast. I do appreciate you listening. I do appreciate all of your comments and emails and text messages throughout the last few weeks. Again, on some very, very dark days, those were enlightening and encouraging, and I certainly appreciate that. I encourage you to take some time this week to be where your feet are and to be thankful for what is going on in your life. Sometimes it is not easy. But be thankful for what is going on in your life. I do hope you will subscribe, rate, review, and share our podcast with your fishing friends. Make sure that we're reaching the most that we can reach, getting the word out to the most that we can. I sure appreciate everyone this week for sharing the podcast, commenting on the podcast. We could not do it without you guys out there supporting us. So thank you so much. Get out and enjoy the great outdoors in the state of Alabama. It's going to cool off pretty quick over the course of the weekend. So make sure that you get out and enjoy the great outdoors in the great state of Alabama. But until next time, God bless, good fishing. And as my great friend, Big Daddy Lawler would always say, get outdoors. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thanks for listening to the Alabama Bass Trail Podcast. To learn more about the Alabama Bass Trail, make sure and visit alabamabasstrail.org.